guys, welcome to the Gobshite Podcast episode. I said that wrong then. Gobshite Podcast episode 4. The reason I'm topless is because it's a sweltering hot day and I record the podcast topless, so for continuity I'm sticking with it. Fuck you if you don't like it. This is Nathan Patel, enough about me.
Hello, how's it going?
So it's quite a fun podcast. We start off quite light-hearted, telling some anecdotal stuff about us growing up and Nathan's interests as a cycling master.
Bike breaker, professional.
Quickly, whilst we're in the intro, what is the recent cycling thing you got coming up?
It's the Ride 100 for mental health charity.
Okay, cool. So I'll if you want to sponsor Nathan, I'll put the link in the description below. But yeah, we get into some quite fun stuff towards the end. Bit racial with my Tony Brown friends.
Bit political.
Right, anyway guys, hope you enjoy. Right, I think we're live then, mate. Jesus. How the fuck you been, mate?
Yeah, very good. You?
Yeah, been alright, man. I feel rejuvenated. I've had again, I know I keep talking about how busy I am, but fuck you, like, I'm enjoying being busy. And,
yeah, it's good, keeps your mind off shit.
Yeah, like, as to you as you come into the house, after I finished my last job today, I managed to start half an hour early, so I finished at 7:30 rather than 8. And, like, despite being a really horrible, like, really hot day today, I was fucking probably, like, really excited. Yes, I can now onto the podcast, like, my reward for having a hard day. I wish I could do one of these every night of the week, but I'm pretty sure Rosie would soon get pissed off with that.
Yeah, I expect she would. She wants a living room back at some point.
Yeah, I keep relegating her in there. Like, I keep saying to her, do you want to take TV in there? It's like, I want to sit in the living room and watch TV. So when was the last time I actually saw you? I was Will's barbecue. Yeah, that was a good fucking night, man.
That was. Did you come to the Derby Day one as well? Because you had a small one after
that.
No,
I got invited to, but Alex invited me, but I had quite a lot on around then. Against one of the things I said I was going to go to it, and when push comes to shove, like, cause don't think I'm doing the Terror Apprenticeship on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, shit.
I think it was a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Saturday. It was
I think it's just I couldn't get there in the end. It was too long. I feel like I've had a local commitment or something.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, the other one was a good day.
Yeah, I love absolutely adore going around Will's house. So I painted a picture for you guys. Actually, you might paint a bit of picture of Will in Will and his house for the
listeners. It's just a bunch of hippies.
Yeah,
cool hippie people that you can just talk shit with all night long,
but hard grafters as well.
Yeah,
like, I mean, there's a bit of like a nomad at the end of like these. Is it called terrace housing, or what's that fucking word for it? Like,
I think it's terrace.
Well, it's like a row of terrace houses. I might get it wrong. I'm stupid. That's what's called gobshite. I'm chatting shit. But it's about 10 houses in a row, and they've all got like the same amount of garden. But at the end of their garden, there's derelict land, which no one claims. So they've extended their garden, built a water gate at the end, not claimed the land for themselves, but they've utilised it, cleared a nice little space in front of the house, and even I've got like a little fire pit there and that. Like, so, I mean, it's just a really cool.
Yeah, it's a very relaxing atmosphere as well. You just go there, have a few beers, smoke a spliff, have a good time, eat food. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, fucking barbecue was great last time. Anyway, let's stop fucking sucking Will's dick. He can suck his own dick whoever comes out his fucking bedroom and comes down here and sees me. So, what have you, Nathan Patel, been up to?
Same shit, different day. Cycling and working. And that's about it. Oh, I'm playing lots of games as well. Is there
any new games that you've could recommend?
Not at the moment, but that Resident Evil 2 looks fucking.
It does look
shit
good.
Scary.
What was your highlight from E3?
Probably that. That's what I've been waiting for the past 2 years. Resident Evil 2, favourite game ever, and I'm now super excited, but I'm fucking shit scared of it at the same time.
See, like, no when people say like this is the probably only time this analogy won't really work. No, like people say with football, you're an armchair fan. I mean, I'm an armchair fan of gaming, but the thing is that would be a compliment because it means I sit down and play games, whereas I don't. I've got a PlayStation 4. The problem with me is like I've got a very addictive personality.
Yeah.
And if I want to sort of do these fulfilling things like podcasts and stuff like that, like and spend time with Rosie, because I first got a PlayStation, I was just like, well, like I'm doing right now, I can get away with kicking her out of the living room to doing a podcast, but if I'm sitting there playing games, socialising on the headset with her.
Yeah.
So with Greg and that lot, she's just like, when we put in the RuPaul on, I'm like, never. So those of you that don't know Nathan, I suppose this is a good follow-up from Trevor's podcast, because where we speak about how me and Trevor sort of, obviously me and Danny was my best mate in high school. Throughout high school, Trevor sort of got very close towards the end of high school, and we mentioned on the podcast that we sort of started mixing with other different groups out there, and Nathan was part of that group. Nathan went to Glyn.
Yeah, Glyn, yeah, with Yannick and that. I don't know whether you mentioned them.
I may have mentioned the names, but we're going to get them on as well. So Nathan was based in Epsom, and we met through the whole bandstand crew and Meadow being parties at his house, and I can't actually place the moment I first met you.
I would expect it was a rock stock, because I think that's where I first met Ben. I remember meeting Ben because I was a big him fan then as well, because I had the Vilvallo jacket with the Tipex and shit on, so I'm pretty sure
it might have been Ben's big first house party.
God, that was
I'd like to think that I met you before then, but I think it's the first night I met in the bill, and that makes sense. It's the first night I met you.
We probably bumped into each other then previously, but never interacted.
Well, it's a nice little segue, man, because Rockstock, you used to be in a lovely little band called Wheel Eye Beneath.
Yeah. What a fun band that was.
Yeah, well, so those of you that are sort of fresh to the podcast or fresh to me as a person, I did try to start a podcast series last year, but I suppose because I wasn't really doing much fulfilling with my life, my band was doing well, but we hadn't sort of got to that sort of Goldilocks zone where we sort of was pushing forward and things are working in our favour. So I wanted to do a podcast, I wanted to do something like this, but it was based around my old pen name, Young Dagger, and I think that was probably around the height of my depression, and I think you was going through something similar then, and we'd done like an episode on depression.
Yeah, mental health issues,
but I think we could cover that again now. Not I'm saying that's something we should get into. We could do, but I think we'd do it more justice now because we're in a better place. I think at the time, it may have come across as being a bit more miserable.
Yeah.
Because it was like winter and it was fucking
it's just cold and wet and rainy.
And since then, you've achieved a fucking lot. You've tell the guys about what you've done recently.
I did the London Revolution. That was like 185 miles over 2 days on a bike, and that was the two biggest rides I've ever done. So like previously, my longest ride was I think 120 kilometres. So on the first day, on the Saturday, I did 160 kilometres, and then the next day I did 140 kilometres. So I was fucked. Is what happens.
So how was the second day?
It was all right to begin with, but in the last 10 miles, my body was starting to give out, and it was a lot more hilly than the first day. I had my feet and that were hurting. Towards the end, it was like I just want to get home and just relax.
So I picked you up and dropped you off. It was in Tottenham, wasn't it? Somewhere.
Yeah, it was Lee Valley.
Lee Valley
Sports.
And on the way there, you was telling me on the way there, you sort of because you was going and doing this by yourself. You wasn't going with a team and that. You suggested that you might try sort of link up with riders up there and sort of try to form a sort of bit of a group. Did you make any friends up there? Did you?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously the roads aren't closed to anything, but you meet a lot of people on there. People coming by, and you just get general chit chat like, "Oh, what you doing? I don't know how you feeling, or you like your bike and stuff like that." But when we got to was it Windsor Racecourse or was it Ascot Racecourse? It was one of the racecourses around there. There was a big camping thing, so you all had your tent sorted, and then there was like a mini festival, and like everyone was interacting then. So there was like a big group. So the next day there was a group like, "Oh, can I join you guys? Because I'm on my own." And they're like, "Yeah, come along." Like,
so you've been to like festivals, you've been to like gigs and things and that. Like how does that environment compare to sort of like metal festivals and things like that? How was that?
The community is the same. I think everyone's very like helpful. Like any second I was stopped on the road, or if you see someone stopped somewhere, it's like, "You all right? It's wheels, like fine. Do you need anything?" And everyone's very like together. No one just sort of like just fucks off and leaves you, even if they don't know you. And I've experienced that outside of doing main events. Like even if I just go around Box Hill and I've had flat tyres, someone will stop me like, "Oh mate, do you need a hand?"
So there's a nice sense of community. So I mean, what I mean is. Because already there's a sense of accomplishment that you guys have got to the destination. How many kilometres was the first one? The first
160.
160. So after 160 kilometres, a whole day riding.
Yeah.
There must be like a unified sense of accomplishment that you've all got there together.
Yeah.
Did that translate at all? Like
yeah, we all got fucking pissed. I mean, everyone was just super excited to be there, and then you have people at the end like cheering you on and that, and then there's like the charity lot that you're doing it for. They're all there cheering you on, so you just feel good, and everyone had like a nice party, food, drink, and just chilled out. It was really good, yeah.
So I suppose we can actually talk about sort of the depression element between me and you, because this was probably one of the main things that dragged you out of it, is taking up cycling.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I think that we mentioned it in the one we last did the podcasts. It was, I was a lot heavier, doesn't feel great about myself, and then I moved in with my mate Mike, who's a massive cyclist. He said, "Oh, do you just want to come out for a day? I've got a spare bike." And it was sort of like, actually, this is quite fun, and it helped pull me out, because you don't think about shit when you're on the bike.
And the thing is, with cycling, there's no end point. It's just like it's a constant push. I mean, now you've done this weekender. What's your next sort of like goal you want to tackle?
Well, I've got the Ride 100 coming up in July. So
do you have a sponsorship page for that yet?
I do. I will post it online shortly.
Okay, well, make sure at the end of the podcast I have the details.
I think it's to do that. So the Saturday of the London Revolution was 100 miles, and I did that in about 8.5 hours. So from then, I've been training for this. So I'm going to try and do it in 6.5. Try and cut that by 2 hours. So I've just been going ham. I think that's next is just cutting times, getting quicker, getting faster, and just going further. I mean, when did I start? I started in July 2016. I started cycling, and then so from January 2nd of 2018, in this period up to now, I've done more cycling than I've done in those 2 years combined. I think I've clocked in like 2,600 kilometres.
And that's obviously made a difference with your weight and that.
Yeah, definitely, and just my outlook on life. That whole mental health thing about exercise helps. It really fucking does. You just see marginal gains. You're like, well, fuck, I actually did something today. Like, whether you're the fastest one out there, that doesn't matter. You actually went out and did something. It doesn't matter if you're cycling, running, or anything. You go to the gym and just go, I did 20 minutes on the treadmill. It's something that you've done, and you can really hold on to that.
Even with me killing myself with work at the moment in this heat and that, like, I've actually got into shape without exercising and such. And already, like, I'm trying to fit extra work in here, and like I'm really pushing myself, like, and it may sound stupid because it's not necessarily exercise, but I'm using my body all fucking day.
Yeah.
And right now I fucking ache, but I'm not too bothered about it because it's just like I feel rejuvenated.
Yeah.
It feels like that sort of. It's not even really an existential struggle, but that sort of strong element has really sort of made me really come into my animal. My testosterone is so fired up right now.
There's definitely an adrenaline rush from doing stuff like that. Any sort of like labouring job or like working out. Adrenaline comes into that, especially at the end of something. You're like, fuck, and it's just keeping you going, but you get a fucking buzz from it. You're like, yeah, cool, let's just carry on. I think that is the key.
So talking about weight, so I don't know if I told you this or not. So it happened maybe a week or two ago. So I was having like, so as I started picking up summer jobs and started working harder, I was sort of pulled up my depression a little bit and sort of I really get excited or happy. But like when I get excitable, I'm sort of, I'm a bit sort of loose, bit quite crazy. So anyway, I picked Rosie. I can't remember where we was going, or it was going home, but I can't remember where from. Maybe Pets at Home, but it was going down towards mine, and I was sort of maybe had The Greatest Showman on, like soundtrack, sitting on, like fucking having a little rave in my car, and then like I saw a guy, a rather large fella, bopping, like he swing his arms, swing his legs, and have a little bop, and like in my stupid little character head, like I've still got that white van man element of me. I bipped him like, "Hey!" because I thought he was bopping.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me and threw his arms in the air, all just put and looked sad. I realised he wasn't bopping. He was just a fat cunt that was power walking.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. So I instantly just killed his buzz. And like Rosie went, "Steve, what the fuck?" And then my heart just sank. And I couldn't point, but like, "Sorry, mate, I thought you was bopping." Like, I was like a bigger hole for myself. Like, I know I have tendencies to be an arsehole, but he's a completely like unintentional. As like it's the first time I've ever seen Rosie give me that sort of really disappointing look. Like, "Steve, come on, man." And I was like trying to explain myself. Like, it's just, I mean, I think a part of that. Like, so as me and Trevor discussed, like I used to work at Scotsgate, which means I had my own van, my own circuit. But when I first started, before I got my own van, I was introduced to a very stereotypical white van man.
Yeah.
And most of them were cokeheads and that, and just sort of sexy, aggressive, like when talking to the men. Like as soon as you put a woman in front of them, they fucking all shit themselves.
Yeah.
But like, so there was like catcalling, not from my end. Like I was always like inherently embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
But like I suppose I've never really catcalled. The only times I've ever gone down that sort of route is when you try to embarrass the other guy in the car. So say they're driving in a busy area, or like you probably bib the horn and sort of like, oi, oi, just hide down. So it's just them on their own. So it's that kind of like, so that my reaction to that guy walking is just that kind of very boisterous, very stupid, sort of not really thinking, in a happy mood. That sort of lad culture where you sort of, you try and sort of embarrass a person in the car. Like, so it was not intentional at all, but I felt incredibly bad about that afterwards.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
So if this gets back to you somehow, Mr. Man that is power walking, I'm sorry, man. I hope you didn't ruin.
I was just trying to keep your buzz going.
So, oh man, so I talk about funny stories. I was trying to think today, like, because I know every time I see you, we're laughing, joking, always having a laugh, but like, I don't think it translates very well anecdotally, because it's not just you making weird fucking noises or something.
Oh god,
like,
yeah.
It's just,
no one else gets it. It's just.
I remember once you told me a story about in the classroom and you was walking around like, and teachers going back to your seat and you was pretending that you know, you sort of didn't know your way back to your seat.
Oh yeah, no, it was,
And
it's the classroom. So I was like, I've missed my turn-in, and that was the like where I was supposed to sit. So I just kept doing laps.
the thing is, every time I try to tell that story, no one laughs. But like when you told it, I was in stitches. Obviously, you had to tell it, but even then, like the stories we have are just so childish and stupid that they just really wouldn't translate too well.
I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty retarded. I still are. I mean, the best one I've got is the penis, the salt penis. I'm sure I've told you about that.
Go for it.
The one at Glyn. So was it coming out? I don't know. Anyway, it was in our last year. I stole a load of salt from Sainsbury's and in the school field put like a massive like fucking 5-foot dick, and it didn't grow there for like 3 years. And funnily enough, I think it was the year below or the year below that got blamed for it, and I never did.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Also, there's another story. It's Yannick's birthday. We was all. Was you there for him?
No, but I walked past it the next day, and you guys had put the paint. You got the paint and drew the penis.
So Yannick used to do a pub crawl, but it was from Cheam all the way to Epsom, and then we walked back again. And it's like 3 a.m, and we found a skip, and I say I found a skip, and there's a big tub of paint in it. So in this cul-de-sac, I drew a big fucking cock. Yeah, it's stupid, it's childish, but fuck it, we're lads, that's what we do. Nothing brings us more joy than just drawing a stupid penis.
Yeah, I do remember walking past that in the morning and being like, I think I text Yannick and was like, was this you, bruv? And he was like, yeah, that was Steve.
So going back to Wheel Up Beneath, man, what are sort of your highlights of that? What are sort of, I think a lot of our best stories of me and you were sort of based around that, me sort of driving you guys down to gigs and things. We had some really good times, but like for you personally, how do you think that sort of developed you as a person? Like,
I think it made me more open to just chatting to people and that. I never really spoke with people outside my social circle. And in that situation, you're forced. You have to. That sounds really harsh, but that's the way it is. You have to talk to these people.
Especially when you're front man of a band as well.
You have to talk to them. You have to interact with them, get them involved. And that was good. That was nice. And all the people we meet, still talk to them now. Like Joe, Mark, we still talk to them.
No, I don't know Driscoll.
Yeah.
He messaged me the other day. He said he's been listening to the podcast and he's dying to get on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Banging.
like,
Excellent.
yeah, can't wait to get on.
It's weird how everything sort of like interlinks people back.
He's in a band now called Centuries.
Okay.
I think that's the right name. Sorry, mate, if I've got it wrong. But he routinely practices in Putney. And they alternate between Putney and Brighton. But he says next time he's down this way, he'll come down and...
Oh, that'd be banging. Was he doing the drums kits as well, wasn't he?
He was doing Serenity custom drums. I'm not too sure he's still doing that or not. But they were fucking sick.
Yeah, they were. Back when the Divided were going.
Before they fucking disbanded. Last show was with Hacktivist. That was a great fucking show.
What was the one we went to? Was it the Green Door Stop?
Where's that? In Brighton?
No, that was in Brighton.
That was the one with Hacktivist.
Did Hacktivist play that?
Yeah.
I only seem to remember the Divided.
And, oh fuck, what are they called? Monuments.
Oh shit. Fucking hell, I only remember the Divided.
Because we drove down with Max and Angelo.
Gear, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because he was doing Knee Deep at the time, I think. Was it Knee Deep? It was.
Yeah, we drove down, or maybe it might have been Friend of the Dead, but we drove down with Angelo and Max.
Fucking hell, that was time ago as well.
So going back to sort of the sort of bandstand days and that, fucking that was quite a sort of a strange time. I still can't really place how it all happened. It was just an enigma. It sort of just kind of like formed.
See, I don't think I ever I went to bandstand a few times. I don't think I went there a lot. We used to go to Kingston a lot. That's where our local haunt was. I know Yannick went to bandstand a lot.
So it's a good thing about this podcast is it's really thrown my mind back because it's like since I met you, you've been a big prominent figure in my life. Like I love you like a fucking brother, and we routinely remain in contact on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But like again, like I still can't really pinpoint when that sort of started happening.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
It's just that was good. It's at least been 8 years.
I still remember one time. Do you remember? I can't remember what I was doing beforehand, but it's when my brother John was living at Rose Hill, and me and you went there one night, and it's back when John first found Reddit, and a website like similar to Reddit, and we got stoned at John's, and we spent about 2 hours watching animal gifs.
I seem to. Did he have a little mini projector thing as well?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Standard. I'd do that now. To be fair, animal gifts are banging.
Yeah, I just don't smoke weed anymore, man. It's just like I dabble every now and then.
Yeah.
But like I still have the anxiety of like dealing with like my inner self. So it's just like I freak out still and sort of like hang out by a tap drinking water like I'm looking to faint.
Yeah, mine's a once in a blue moon. I just don't like feeling stoned anymore. It's just like
So actually, what I was going to ask you, yeah, again, this is gobshite, so I'm a dumb fuck, and I'm just chatting shit. Um, I sent you that article recently about Sadiq Khan, and that not it was one of his associates that was talking about getting how cycling is too dominated by white middle class men.
I didn't even bother finishing that article because it's just bollocks.
And to be fair, with your caramel complexion and Salim Patel with love for cycling, you're kind of the best person to unpack your feelings on this.
Oh, I know. I see plenty of Asian cyclists and black cyclists and Chinese cyclists. Everyone's cyclist. I think it's just a completely. I honestly I couldn't finish the article because the headline itself is just stupid.
Yeah. It's like identity politics has gone so far down into fucking the act of cycling.
Yeah.
Like, cycling's definitely a personal choice.
I mean, there's that whole thing, they're called mammals. It's like middle-aged men having like their midlife crisis, go buy like a 10 grand bike and wear lycra and ride around on a Sunday.
Sure.
But
who's that affected?
No one.
I don't think I've actually asked anyone directly in the podcast this, but you know my feelings on this, but has the left gone too far?
Yes. Because... Right, so we're going down this road.
Fuck it, let's do it, man.
If you have an alt-right, you have an alt-left. You have to have the opposite, and that's where it is. You can't push your policies on people, because that's fascism. Like, if you tell me what I can and can't say to people, if someone says to me, look, Nathan, I identify as this, could you please call me that? I'll be like, right, cool. You've asked me politely, that's cool. But if you enforce it by law, by legislation, by anything like that, now, fuck you, bruv. That's just stupid.
It's stupid. That's the thing that annoys me. Like, someone the other day tried. I don't really engage on Facebook no more. I think me and you are both grown up to that point where we don't we try to avoid that because it's just stupid. But I spoke to someone briefly the other day about this whole Tommy Robertson ordeal. Sort of give a few little things. Like, not that I respect Tommy as a person, but this conversation we had, I sort of point out the fact that there is such a thing as left wing fascism, and we're seeing it right now. That they're using government regulation and identity politics. And virtue signaling to try and push forward this new regulation that's going to silence people, which is totalitarian. It's fascism in design. But I was told, but he said to me that I can't remember the exact words he used, but he's basically saying the left can't be fascist. It's like, but
they can.
I know it's semantics, and I know the semantics are important, but how can they not be?
Yeah, if you're going to enforce stuff on people, what they can and can't do, that's fascism right there. You enforce it to the point where you're threatening violence, then that's definitely fascism.
Yeah,
100%.
This is the thing that annoys me so much when when talking to people who sort of are from the Star Trek generation that glorify themselves as being rebels because they're outcasts in social environments, and they think it's all all poetic and beautiful and that to be a fucking rebel, and they sort of end up sympathising with fucking fuck groups like fucking Dickhead Antifa, and they're the first people to sort of quote 1984, and be like, look, we're going down this road as the right gets in power. It's like, but the right's not been in power for years. Like, the right's just being right wing's a dirty word still, right? Even if you're centre right, as long as the right's attached to it, it's a dirty fucking word.
Yeah.
And what they don't seem to realise is all these regulations that liberal sort of types are pushing for. These are the exact things that are giving right wing fascists, if you want to call it that, the power to sort of take hold. If you're policing people on their personal language, not on their context or intent. If you're policing language, you're giving the state control. It's crazy to think that you could spend jail time for a fucking mouth sound.
Yeah. I mean, you just mentioned Tommy Robinson. Again, I don't agree with him. The guy's a bit of a bellend. But it brought around this whole freedom of speech thing. Now, I fully back freedom of speech. If there was a Nazi living on my road, he can walk up and down my road and say, Packies, get the fuck out, because then I can debate him on it.
Yeah.
And I can tell him what the facts are. Now, admittedly, he'll probably punch me in the face, but, okay, it's not the right thing to say, but you can debate it, and you can tell them why they're wrong, and you can try and convince them. And if you talk to 100 Nazis and you convince one of them that actually maybe they're wrong, is that not a good thing?
Well, there was this jazz player, and he made it his life goal to convert people from the KKK. And he did it by he did it by talking to them, by going against what the sort of he'd done the hard thing, which wasn't go through the obvious reaction. He sat down and spoke to them, and he made them see, look, I may be black, but I'm a human. And it was through, debate hasn't got to be on the nose. Debate hasn't got to be something that's intense. Debate can just be challenging someone in a positive way. and saying, look, you know, and even I know people have a lot of pride, and I can understand that, and they might think it's beneath them to sit down and sort of try justify their existence. But I mean, this guy has converted over 200 people from the KKK, and they're friends with him today. Like, I don't know if he's still alive or not, so I shouldn't say today, but it's through debate. And debate hasn't got to be, as I just said, it hasn't got to be like put it on the nose in your face, like, hey, you can't. Yeah.
Just be like, look, these are the facts, pal. Like, you want to say here, and people are coming over here and doing nothing. They're not actually. They're contributing to the economy and doing things.
The problem is if you have the automatic response to shout down these people and come at them with the same force and energy they're coming at you, they're just going to isolate themselves further.
Yeah.
Like you're proving them right. And once they're sort of in that isolation, they're going to find more people like them and form these coalitions and collectives that might potentially, you know, cause beatings and things. Actually, become these groups that everyone fears. Like, I wouldn't say that EDL is that. I'm sure EDL is made of people like that, and I've stood against it. Like Tommy Robinson as well. I've denounced. Like, I've never stood by the EDL. He's denounced them. Yeah, again, I'm not saying he's a. I don't think me and him would ever get on a friend level. I don't think I could sit and have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
But I've got to respect the fact of what he's done with the whole free speech thing. I mean, I went to the first free speech rally. I took Rosie with me because I wanted to go see what it's all about. Like, I wasn't going there to fucking stand by and be like, yeah. It's just like I was like, this could be a pinnacle moment in history. I just want to go check out and see what's going on.
You just further broaden your horizons, just to see something, further your knowledge, see a different perspective, put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like,
from these rallies and stuff, all you ever see is what the media wants you to see.
Yeah,
and it's just fucking the bald white dickheads, which fits my demographic perfectly. I went up there as a fucking working class white bald guy with my fucking Harrington jacket on, just to be like, I'm an approachable one. You know, I spoke to a few Muslim lads up there. Like, granted, the Muslim lads that were near me, it was quite hostile. Like that guy that you saw in the video beaten with a stick, I was right in that collective there. And so, like, but also there was a lot of, like, it was so peculiar. Like, yes, there was the fucking working class white lads there with bald heads and chatting, Tommy, what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But there's also Sikhs there, Hasidic Jews. Like, I was like, bruv, like, there's a fucking Hasidic Jews, like, fucking just, it was a massive collection of people. And also, surprisingly enough, which people don't sort of report enough, there was like a load of black youths from fucking Brixton and fucking Streatham and that were there. Like, mainly, I say youths, a lot of the youths were sort of, there's a lot of Somalian youths there that are sort of trying to scope what the Muslims are doing and jumping in if there's any violence. But I mean, the black youths that were there from Brixton and Streatham, and they was there in support of Tommy. There's there being like, you know, bruv, like, we need this. If we're going to represent ourselves as black men, black working class men, we need a fucking voice. And right now, the people that are speaking for us are fucking white girls and fucking white middle class people. They're speaking on our behalf. Like, that in itself is racist. Just saying, wait, stay there, darky. I'll speak for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how people can't see this. It really fucking blows my fucking mind.
People just need to get out more, I think, and experience the world a bit more. I mean, Jordan Peterson, you see all his things at the university and stuff. They're all just young people have no idea what the hell is going on in the world, just attacking him. It's like, the dude's not really against you, he's just pointing out the facts.
I mean, like, for people seem to realise they conflate being an individual as knowing what's best for a human. I mean, what I mean to say, I don't know if it makes sense, but I'll explain that now. We as humans, we have very similar brains, very similar genetic makeup, okay? And going through the history of our psychology of our history in that, we definitely have certain needs that need to be in place, and whether they be social needs, but they're also internal needs.
Yeah.
So we need a bit of struggle, we need a bit of failure, we need things to be uncomfortable, and we need to sort of be able to change things. We need to sort of become our own individual. So rather than just being an individual and fighting for your right to be offended. Sorry, not fight for your right to be offended, fighting a fight to not be offended. They don't seem to realise that these things are essential to them as a human.
Yeah.
So you can be individual, okay? You can sort of have the things you would like and don't like, the things that offend you and whatnot. But you have to understand, as a human, we have these certain needs. And Jordan Peterson, as a clinical fucking psychologist, has spent his life trying to unpack these things and make it understandable for the layman. Like, and set his small tasks, small routines up to show you how you can become a better human. Not even a better man or a better woman, just a better
human
person.
being.
Yeah. It's crazy that sort of... I know it's very ignorant of me to say I don't understand. I imagine 10 years ago, I think less than that. I used to be one of those progressive types, but I can look back in hindsight and say, well, I was very effeminate. I was very skinny, very malnourished. I did have a victim complex. You know, I was fucking emo Steve. You know, fucking. Yeah. It got me tail and attention to fucking wear eyeliner and fucking be a bit like self-deprecating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was still a guy. I was still fucking. It's like these male feminists. You know, there's sort of only male feminists to sort of get a bit of tail. And I can say that, like, not that I did this on purpose, but I can see I went down these sort of very effeminate routes to try and meet girls. It's like a fucking cuttlefish. That's fucking a massive tangent. The cuttlefish, the bigger ones, the alpha ones, they protect the female. But the little ones, the beta ones, they assume the colour change of a female to try and like
sneak in.
Yeah, like it's that same premise, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can look at wildlife and draw correlations.
Yeah. Just distinctive lines between how we match as humans into basic animal instinct. Because that's all we are. We're just a bunch of fucking monkeys trying to make the best of what we've got, and we'll act on instinct at the end of the day.
I think in the last two podcasts I've brought up, the reason I'm doing these and sort of the reason I'm enjoying doing these is because the sort of conversations we're having right now, very civilly, and we're getting a bit sort of like amped up with so we're greeting. I understand it's a bit of a circle jerk here, but like it's done. There's no hate in our voice. Our context is sincere because we want people to do better. I mean, you are a testament to people doing better for themselves. Do we still struggle?
Yeah, every day. Everyone does. It's a blatant lie to sit there and say that your life's perfect because there's always some other goal that you need to achieve. And if you hit that line where you're like, well, I don't need to achieve anything, either you're lying to yourself and you have a serious mental health problem, or you're super rich, I guess, whatever
but it's giving people, but so going from that, so it's this sort of environment now set up with the podcast and recording, like it's giving people a chance to hear. That like it's fine to have these conversations. It's not a naughty thing to have.
It's not at all.
It's just, and it is sincere. Like, we're not sitting there being like, do you know what I fucking hate lefties? What cunts, man?
No, I actually agree with some left policies, but where it becomes too far, there's always either side has a line, and it gets crossed.
But where the paradigm has shifted, I mean, arguably, me and you have always really been centre left. I mean. But now, because the paradigm shift, that line's gone. We'd now be considered, with some of the views we have and the way we talk, we're considered right. But I don't think we are. But we have to have these open dialogues. We have to fucking talk and just be like, guys, like, and above all, I think I mentioned this with Danny, we need to police ourselves. The left has gone too far, and as a fucking classic lefty, I can see the bad traits that I used to have in my early 20s. I'm now a 30-year-old man. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot more in the next fucking 30 years. Don't get me wrong, but I can look back at my early self and see a lot of similarities in these kind of people. To be fair, if I was born 10 years ago, I've got a lot of confidence in saying I'd be one of them people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that think I reckon I'd probably be Antifa. I reckon if I was born 10 years ago, I reckon that I would be one of those people dressing up in fucking little bad clothes and be like, I'm going to go fucking hit someone.
Yeah.
Because you're hitting someone in the collective. You're fighting. There's not been one video where they've put up hands at anyone because you can't fight pussies. You can't do shit.
Yeah.
Like you're hoping that this little Star Wars thing, your baseball bat is your fucking lightsaber and that, go and zoom do some flips and fucking. You're not, bruv. If you've not ever been beaten up, I mean, the first person to not want to throw a punch has been beaten up before.
Yeah.
If I fight, I have to fucking fight.
Yeah.
And I'll go for the fucking throat. Like I've had fights in the past, man. I'm from a rough area.
Yeah.
I try to avoid conflict because I don't want to fucking risk fighting because I know what it feels like when you fucking lose.
Yeah. When you get hit in the face, it's not nice.
No. Not at all, unless you're getting fucking money for it, that's right. Or being filmed for fucking, like Ben Ogilvy did fucking back in the day in YouTube first, like coming about, Jesus. Yeah, I like getting rolled up with you.
Yeah?
Normally, it's quite nice doing this with Nathan because me and Nathan have got a sort of bit of a gallows humour and we spend most of our day in our private WhatsApp group. I won't disclose the name. It's RMS for short. But anyway, we sort of just share like really sort of on the nose fucking memes and stuff, and I think I think honestly, if the world keeps going the way the media's spinning it, and if they get more regulation, I think if any of our WhatsApp conversations were released to the public, we'd be fucking vilified. I think that's most of the fucking WhatsApp groups I have. It's just like, and I think that's definitely a pushback from it being lads is seen as a naughty word. Because being a bit boisterous and being a bit, I understand why it's intimidating for people fully. I've been at the opposite end of that. I fully understand why that happens, but lads do need to fucking let loose and sort of be, because now you're kind of pushing us into these little groups where we actually have the aid of like photos and gifs and things and that to sort of really push the bar. And the thing is, none of us are doing it because it's our real thoughts. The things we share with each other, it's just to gross each other out.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times I've been like, guys, I saw this, made me feel sick, and I want you guys to share in disgust with me because I feel like right now. It's just like this, all for one for all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I hope our WhatsApp group never gets made public. I've got a lot of WhatsApp groups I never want made public.
So
I don't know. Just my mentality is just take the piss out of everything, and if it's taken as a joke, there's nothing to get offended or irritated by. Well, the perfect example is you lot call me Packy, Indian, Bud Ding Ding, whatever.
I've never called you Bud Ding Ding, but I've called you the other two.
Yeah, you call me the other two, brown bastard, whatever. But like, there's a fine line between you doing that and then someone else doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's coming from a place of like love, and it's done in irony.
Yeah,
it's ironic that we're doing it.
It's just people should just sit back and.
I mean, Phil's Korean.
Yeah,
and the amount of times like it's kind of become a game. Like he'll make sure he gets a joke in before everyone else. It's like in before he'll be the first person to fucking make a joke, and like even if it's not even on our minds, he'll be the first person to make a joke about the fact that he's got slutty eyes. Like,
yeah, exactly. If you beat him to the punch, what can you do? Like...
Exactly. I think we've got a really good group of lads, and I really hope that the people out there today. I mean, who knows what's going to happen over the next 10 years? But we hope the people that are not that far behind us, they have a group of lads like this.
Yeah.
Whereas, like by nature, we are very multicultural. But the thing is, that's not the thing that makes us friends. It's the fact we've all got each other's back.
Yeah.
We look after each other. And do you think for a second I'd tolerate anyone calling you Packy out in public? Do you think
God no.
I'd fucking.
I think anyone would.
Yeah. Like none of the fucking lads would do. We've got your back. You're our fucking friend. We love you. And the fact she was in, like the fact you've got you're half Indian, has never drew me to be like, oh, I better make this guy a fucking friend.
Yeah, I need my token Asian friend.
Yeah. And that's why again I think that's gone too far because you're trying to make people do that.
That's what identity politics does. It further pushes people into these segments. You can't look at people as a segment. You need to look at them as the human being.
So, on that note, let's do the opposite end of the scale. Talk to me a little bit about the racism you have experienced.
I've had two major incidences. The main one that sticks out of my mind is I was working in London as a contractor probably about 3 years ago now. Working late, coming home. Now, I was on the train, had my feet up, being a slob as per usual, feet up on the seats and that. And this guy's come in, it's like, oh mate, can you move? Because my kids and that want to sit down. He's drunk. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll go sit in the little two singular things. Anyway, he's then turning around and going, no, I need you to move further away because you look like a terrorist. So I had a bag and a beard at the time, and I was like, mate, are you fucking stupid? And then he's just kicked off and been like, why the fuck don't you come back to where you came from? And my response was, well, why do you think I'm on the train? I'm going home. And that's when he sort of got irate, started trying to get aggressive with me, started trying to push me. Luckily at that point, 3 dudes in suits were like, nah mate, you need to back the fuck off, and they pulled me down to the other end of the carriage. And the other incident, oh shit, there was another one. I think it was on the train again. It was similar again. It was go back to where you came from, and it's like, mate, why do you think I'm on the fucking train? Or no, this one was, oh, I would, but the housing prices in Guildford are a bit too expensive, and he didn't take that very well either.
It's fucking, and I imagine that sort of shit. Like, I do remember the feeling of dread when I was younger and skinnier, and people just fucking. It's just a feeling of being mugged, but that was just. I always knew that was just opportunists.
Yeah.
The things with you, one thing I can't say I relate to, and I imagine it's fucking scary. That impending feeling of dread is someone going to back in to help me with this?
Yeah.
And I imagine that's horrible.
I think, well, luckily I've been in public every time, so if something happens to me, 9 times out of 10 he's probably going to get caught and I'm going to charge him.
That's a good outlook to have then.
Yeah. But there has been another one where it's been outside. I was on a date with a bird, and this was last year, I think, and some dude was like, why are you with that Packy bastard? Luckily, she got more aggressive than I did. I had to pick her up and be like, yeah, we're not having this fight, love. Like, let's just get the fuck out of here. And she's like yelling at him. I've never been in a situation where it's just been me and that's happened, which is surprising because you think that's when they do it, when you're on your own. They target you on your own. I guess they targeted me then because they thought she wouldn't kick off, but she did. So
I think that that is definitive racism, but also I'd say there's an argument to have to say that that is just ignorance.
Yeah, I think it comes down to an education factor as well.
Because the thing is that the fact you're saying that you've never experienced anyone seeking out you to beat you up, because your skin colour and that.
No, never.
I think that's a testament to the fact that these these scare stories of saying these races are out there. I mean, I think that's kind of shown that, like, yes, there are racist individuals or uneducated individuals or like just idiots, compared to a collective of people hunting for fucking brown bloods.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't think you'd get that around Epsom. I don't.
Again, the whole thing of this podcast is we're speaking about what's local to us. I can't. Everything I say is completely relevant to what I've seen and experienced.
Yeah.
And I imagine this shit does go on, but I can't sit here and sort of virtue signal and say, you know, it definitively it does. You know,
because you've never witnessed it.
Yeah, and I've got to stay true to myself, and same with you, and speak for myself. And say I personally haven't seen it. That's not to say it doesn't happen. It's just I've, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, prime example, right? This is how I could tell the culture has definitely changed. Okay, I grew up in Streatham originally, and I was part of the church down there with Beavers and Cubs. Now in our Cubs group, there's quite a few black boys in there, and I can't remember there being any sort of brown skin Indian fellas, nothing like that. It's just that all the whites and blacks went there, and a few Italians or whatever. And routinely in the changing room afterwards, getting changed, would sing a song, and it was bud bud ding ding $2.99, Packy in a corner shop, wasting my time. I asked for a condom, he give me a blue, say pee off Packy, I'll kick you to the moon. And we all fucking erupted laughter. And the thing is, the parents then like would hear us like, "Why, Joey, calm it down there." It's never a thing of saying, "Don't say this."
Yeah.
I mean, so back in those days, it was quite common to call people Packies and sort of like. I don't think there's any fucking niggers or M-bombs dropped like that. I don't think I can recall anyone saying that.
Yeah.
Apart from angry parents or grandparents saying that in cars with behind closed doors. But yeah, I never really witnessed that face to face. And if I did, I would have stood against that. I'd like to think so anyway. I can't definitely say that because I'm not a kid anymore. But the fact that, like, if that was sung in a classroom or sung in a scattle nowadays, I don't think you can find anyone in that room that wouldn't be like, "What the fuck are you doing, bruv?"
Yeah.
So that's got to say things have started going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. It's all on context and thingy though. At the same time, if there's an Asian guy in the room who starts singing it, I think everyone else is going to start singing it, because if he can make the joke, like me and Phil can make the joke, then I think you guys are more comfortable to do it.
But have you ever heard that song before?
It rings a bell.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think if I was to, like, say I was Indian, say I was you, or say even you, fuck you, say it was you, say you used to be in a pub and sing that song, I don't think anyone know the fucking words, and that's got to say something.
Yeah, or people just be too awkward to join in.
Or that. Right, dude, that's been 41 minutes on the dot. That's been pretty meaty, so let's just call it a fucking day.
Cool, excellent.
Right, that's one.
Safe.